What's up, guys? Welcome back to RC Overload. I just finished making up another video that I just recently posted for you guys, kind of like an update. But I realized after uploading it that I forgot to mention something here real quick. I just want to congratulate Ethan Bowen, Boning, I think is how you pronounce it. He was the contest winner on the 100 subscriber contest that I had going there. I promised before that I would make a video that said who the winner was. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that. So I just wanted to announce it real quick. Congratulations, man. Your thing's already in the mail. Probably by the time I upload this, you should have already received it, hopefully. If there's any problems, let me know, of course. But anyways, congratulations, man. Just wanted to get that out there real quick. But on to today's video. I wanted to give you guys a update on the Traxxas Revo 3.3 that I recently, I shouldn't say recently, should say more like a couple months ago, I picked up used, and I got it for 150 bucks, okay? To me, that's cheap money for this. You know, for a truck that's originally almost $600, to get it for 150 bucks, and to maybe throw about another 100 bucks into it, I think I did pretty well. So, I wanted to show you guys this thing. And if some of you guys remember, the thing was dirty as heck. Had dirt, grime, nitro fuel everywhere. So I tore it all down apart like I did with the 1/16 e-Revo, where I have the video series, and I did almost the exact same stuff to it. So there wasn't really a need to make videos on it. Plus that, I've been moving, so it was kind of a little difficult. So I just did it on the side. But let me bring this thing up a little closer for you guys, blah, 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 to show you really what I've been doing to it. So as you guys can see, this thing is a monster, okay? It is from my fingers to my elbow, okay? This thing is huge. I can practically fit it in the camera view, okay? It's enormous. I love this thing. I have always wanted one. And I had one before, and unfortunately I had to get rid of it. So, now that I got this one, I built it the way I want to. And real quick before I go into detail, I did want to mention that these rims, I do have a set of blue bead locks coming for them that should be here in the next couple of days. It's gonna match very closely to the 1/16 Revo that I got. So, you know, since they're the same truck, why not make them look similar? So here we go. Look at how much cleaner this truck is. Okay. The exhaust, yeah, it's still got those burn marks on it, you know, but I can only do so much with it. But as you guys can see, right off the bat, I got a set of RPM control arms on here, okay? Front and rear, top and bottoms. And the reason I did that is because this truck weighs a lot. If I was to guess, probably a good 10 pounds or so. With this truck, the way it is, if I was to jump it or smash into something hard, I was going to end up breaking the control arm. So the first thing I wanted to do was upgrade those control arms to make sure I'm not constantly having to replace that or worrying about it snapping and then having the rest of my day ruined. I don't want to have to replace this when I'm out there. So for the money that these control arms cost, they are totally worth it. They're actually relatively cheap. Now, I've also gone ahead, and you guys have seen the video, I've already torn down the motor and I've already cleaned the whole thing out. But I've cleaned out the air filter. I went through the entire truck, replacing all the bearings inside of it. Trying to keep it up, the thing actually weighs quite a bit. We replaced the bearings in the front bulkhead. We replaced the bearings in the transmission, the rear bulkhead. We went through the whole truck. Even the rockers here for the suspension. Whoops, sorry guys. The rockers here actually have bearings right inside where they mount to the truck. Now I've actually replaced all the bearings with Acer racing bearings like I do with all my trucks. Now, I did want to give fast eddy bearings a shot on this one, from being mentioned by Codes Empire. And this is my opinion on fast eddies bearings. I got them in. I was excited to use them. I took them out of the bag, and the first thing I noticed is how rough they were. They're smooth, but they didn't spin freely like I wanted them to, compared to what I'm used to anyways with the Acer racing bearings. But for the cost of it and how quickly they shipped it to me, I decided to go ahead and start putting them on. Unfortunately though, when I was working on the front bulkhead, before I had gotten to any other part on the car, I had noticed I was missing 3 bearings in the entire kit. And those bearings were the large ones for the hubs. Now inside these hubs, they have a large bearing on the backside and a smaller bearing on the front side where the drive shaft will go through. Those larger bearings, I only had 1, and I needed 4 of them total for all 4 hubs. So unfortunately, I couldn't complete it. But I had already put together the whole front bulkhead, so I decided to just order up the Acer racing bearings at this point, in which they had all the bearings I needed, and I put the whole truck together. So in all actuality, in this front end here, I do have fast eddy bearings being run in it. The rest of the truck, the transmission, the rear drivetrain, has all Acer racing bearings in it. My opinion is you pay for what you get. Fast eddies, they're great replacement parts if you want to stay stock. This is, again, guys, I know there's tons and thousands of reviews that say these bearings are amazing, and I'm not saying that they aren't. What I'm saying is, in my opinion, that these bearings are equivalent to stock bearings. If you're looking for a kit to replace your whole truck, go with fast eddy bearings. If you're looking for an upgrade or performance upgrade, go with Acer racing bearings. Now, I know there's other companies out there. I have not tested those out yet, so I can't say anything about those companies. But the Acer racing bearings are a much more improved bearing, much smoother than the fast eddies. But yes, you also pay almost double. So again, you pay for what you get. And I've been running the Acer Racings in the 1/16 Revo since I pretty much owned it about 9 months ago. And it wasn't until recently that I went through all the bearings and just add some lube into them to bring them all back to life again. I haven't had to replace any. So, I don't know what the life is on the fast eddies, but we'll see since I got half the truck running on them. So, that's that, okay? We got the RPM control arms in on this thing. I even went ahead and, like I do with all my nitro-powered trucks, and I don't care if you believe in these or not, but this is what I do for extra protection on the motor. I have installed a fuel filter, okay? Nothing fancy, just a simple fuel filter. Because if you go to open up this fuel tank and you go to pour in some fuel and you get dirt around the edge there and you kick it in, at least that fuel filter will help prevent it from getting to the motor and destroying it and causing issues. Okay? I did not change out the fluid in the shocks. I did not change the fluid out in the diffs. They were a little stiff when I first got it, but as I've been moving the truck around, everything's been freeing up nicely. But I have noticed that the shocks are a little soft for my liking. I like something a little bit stiffer. So I think here, before I go ahead and run them, what I'm going to do is actually change out the fluids so they're a little softer but get a more heavy-duty spring so it doesn't sink down as low. Because I don't want this thing bottoming out when I'm off-roading and scratching up the ground. I mean, look at that. Right now I'm running the long-traveled rockers in here, so that's why I'm getting this height that I'm getting. But that's it hitting the ground. I don't want it to hit the ground. I did remove the bump stops out of the shocks, but I did that purposely so I could get that extra movement. So if I can get some stiffer springs in here to help slow down it as it gets to the closer to the ground, I'll be much happier. So, with that said, I've also gone ahead and replaced the shifter servo because the gears inside that servo were stripped out. Stayed factory because it's waterproof. And went through the whole transmission, greased up the gears in the transmission. I know it says you're not supposed to add any oil or grease into these gears, but I did read a review that said if you add a little bit of grease inside of it, it does a world of wonders for this motor and this transmission. It makes everything work a lot less harder, so you get more performance out of it. Considering that this is going to be a bashing rig, and I'm going to just try to drive it as fast as I can and jump it hard and just put it through its paces and just beat on it, because that's the whole purpose of why I got this truck. To go fast and to beat on it. I wanted it still to run as good as it possibly can. So that's why I'm doing these minor performance upgrades to it. That transmission, in all honesty, was pretty scary to take apart. There was a ton of little gears, and I didn't know what to do. But after figuring it all out, I got it all back together, and we're pretty much good to go now. I do still have the stock drive shafts in here, the plastic ones. And like I said, I'm pretty much going to run everything stock on this truck until it breaks. Okay? And then once it breaks, then I'll look for an upgrade. But, kind of give you guys another overview. Here's the underside. You know, got all the plastic shields on here. It looks pretty much exactly like the 1/16 E-Revo, because it pretty much is. There is some more extra components on this, so it does make things a little more complicated. But here's a nice close-up view, okay? I did remove the front and rear bumpers just for cosmetic looks, really. This does have the OptiDrive system in it, which, in other words, if I wanted to shift from forward to reverse, the car has to be stopped. And it won't shift it until the truck's stopped, and that's what this OptiDrive is. I was having some issues when I was testing everything out to make sure it was all working good. So I'm hoping that I get those bugs all worked out now. But if not, then I'm going to remove the OptiDrive altogether and just take my chances if I need to go forward to reverse. Just make sure the truck's completely stopped. But that's later on, and I'll show you guys all that later. But that's where I'm at with the Traxxas Revo 3.3. I'm going to be running some 25% nitro fuel through it. And I pretty much just can't wait to get this thing out and just go back to my roots. Because nitro is what I started with way back when I was like 14, 10 years ago. And I had a nitro Rustler. So to have a nitro vehicle again, it's really cool. It's a lot of fun. I can't wait to get this thing out and to show you guys, have some epic movie style videos, as well as just some first person view videos. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. You know, not a lot was done, just rebuilt it, cleaned it all up really. So with that said, it's going to be another couple weeks before I can get this thing out, because I need to break it in, and I want warm weather when I go and do the break-in procedure. So, until then, guys, I'll catch you around. But again, like always, subscribe, comment, let me know what you think. If you got some ideas for this thing, let me know. You know, I'd be more than happy to test them out, or if you got an idea you'd like to see done on this, let me know, because I'll give it a shot, okay? So, yeah, comment, like, share, subscribe. Alright guys, so that's it for today, and see you guys around.